County Airport Subcommittee. And as always, first on the agenda would be Dean Knox.
All right, Mike. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Item number one on the engineering agenda for the airport, 2018 New York State Aviation Capital Grant, the Avgas or low lead 100 fuel farm replacement. Passero Associates continues the planning and design work for this New York State Aviation Capital Grant funded project, which New York State Aviation Capital funding will cover approximately 60 to 70% of the total project cost. We intend to complete design phase work in the middle of 2021 and advertise the construction contract at some point soon after we complete the design on that. New York State DOT will have to look at the plans and give us approval to go to bid, but that shouldn't take too long. So we're progressing a little bit slowly on that project, but I think we have 4 years or so to complete that project, and we're in the second year right now.
Hey, Dean.
Yeah.
Will that, do you think, cover the same footprint that it has now, or?
Mike, we think we're going to move it about 30 feet to the north, so we can keep the existing fuel farm in operation while we're constructing the new one. So same general area.
Yeah.
Same general area. Yep.
All right.
So that's what we're looking at. Item 2, our federal fiscal year 2020 federal AIP grant projects, of which there are 3 this past summer, this season. As previously reported, the FAA will cover 100% of all eligible costs for each of these FFY 2020 AIP projects versus the typical 90% federal, 5% state, 5% Columbia County funding set up for previous AIP grants. That's due to the COVID CARES Act, up the funding to 100%, which is really good. So the current status of each of these projects, which we were given grants for back in late August, early September, is as follows. Number 1, the North Apron Reconstruction Project, the construction phase. Project contractor A. Colarusso and Son of Hudson, New York, began work on this construction contract on October 5th. All major work tasks on the project, including new drainage, new subbase, and new pavement, have been completed by ACS as of last Thursday, 11/19/20. Site restoration has been completed as well, although the seeding of the disturbed areas will not be accepted and paid for until the spring of 2021. We got it seeded last week. Probably won't get too much catch this year, so we'll wait until the springtime to see if we have an acceptable catch of grass there. So that'll be the last piece of the project. Pavement markings may be able to be completed this fall. If weather permits within the next 1 to 2 weeks, we'll try and get that done. So the only thing left would be the monitoring the seeding that we did this fall, next spring. This project was substantially completed several days ahead of schedule by Colarusso and will likely be under budget when all is said and done as well. Our wildlife, item number 2, our wildlife inadvertent entry fence and NavAids upgrades project, construction phase for that one. Project contractor GB Hasty Fence Company, Incorporated of South Agawam, Mass. began contract work on this long-awaited fence and NavAid upgrade project on November 2nd. Work completed by GBH as of the week of 11/16 was vegetation clearing along 2 miles of the existing fence, partial completion of the new 500-foot fence closure at the runway 21, the north end of the airport, and complete replacement of the primary wind cone, the 2 supplemental wind cones, and the segmented circle, all of those which are the navigational aid upgrades that were in that project. The airport beacon, which is also going to be replaced, is on back order and won't be delivered until sometime in January. So we think we're going to wait until the end of the wintertime period to put the new beacon up. So that's the status of that project. Overall, GBH is progressing contract work slightly ahead of schedule and anticipates, if relatively good weather continues, completing the majority of major work tasks on that contract by the Christmas holiday. So we'll actually probably wrap it up in the springtime, but the majority of the work, if the weather holds out, should be done by Christmas, which is very good. Item 3, our airport pavement management project. Passero Associates has made good progress on several tasks included in the airport PMP project scope. Field surveys, data collection, and ratings of all existing pavement areas on the airport have been completed, and the cumulative PMP report on all pavement, airport pavement, their condition, and proposed future cyclical and preventive tasks and major capital pavement work is being progressed now. It's an FAA required pavement management plan that we're doing now, and this project should be completed within the first quarter of 2021. All of those three projects, like I said, are 100% federally reimbursed this year, which is very good. Item 3, our 2020 New York State Aviation Capital Grant Solicitation. Applications were originally due to DOT by June 15th this past year for up to $1.5 million per project, which was the maximum award amount in the New York State Aviation Capital Grant Funds, with each sponsor being able to submit a maximum of 2 project applications. On or about June 1st, we submitted an application to DOT for approximately $1.5 million for funding of the renovation and rehabilitation of the major portions of the original airport hangar building, including a potential replacement and upgrade to the pilot's lounge. The COVID-19 pandemic delayed the final submittal date for applications to early September, but we got ours in by the original submittal date, and New York State reviews of all the applications submitted, we hear, are now underway. So we're not sure when they're going to decide on those. Hopefully it's sometime in the first quarter of 2021. And hopefully we'll get a grant to do some work on the hangar building. Item 4 is our COVID-19 CARES Act Operations and Maintenance Funding Grant. A second aviation-related funding component of the federal COVID-19 CARES Act was a provision to assist almost all public airports across the U.S. with some grant funding that would help airport owners to cover some airport facility operations and maintenance expenses during the COVID pandemic. In May, we prepared and submitted an application for this CARES Act funding and received notice in June that our application for $69,000 in federal funding was approved. This grant offer was accepted by the county sometime during the summer, and DPW Engineering and our Facilities Division are jointly progressing an initial reimbursement request for some of those funds now. And the last item I have is a resolution request for a 1-year extension of our on-call airport engineering services contract with Passero. This contract is for non-grant related engineering services. If something pops up and we need their advice on something, we have this on-call airport contract or engineering contract in place. We started it in 2019. We had $18,000 in fees as a maximum payable amount. We didn't come close to that in 2019. We didn't come close to it in 2020. So we'd like to extend that for 1 more year, as there's probably $8,000 or $9,000 left on that contract. So we're just asking to extend the contract for 1 more year. And we think we'll have enough money in there if something pops up this year that we need their advice on. So that's the resolution request for that.
Get a motion to move that to Public Works.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thanks. Just as another point that I wanted to bring up was I sent along an article out of Aviation Business Magazine, Airport Business Magazine, about the pandemic era and the effects on business aviation. In talking to Malin, there were a couple of months back in April and May that weren't so good, but from this article and several others I've seen in some of the aviation related stuff that I get online, the general aviation component of the business aviation, such as charters and things that Richmore does around the country, has really taken off from what I hear, and which is a good thing. People feel a little bit safer if they have the wherewithal to charter a jet. So I think Malin has said things that are very, very busy up that way. So that was kind of good to hear. It's always good for fuel sales and landing fees and some of those other things that we collect up there. So it was good to see that there is an offshoot of the pandemic that's actually been good for part of the aviation community, and that's business aviation. So just thought you'd be interested in taking a look at that article.
Dean, it's Art Basson. Just a quick question. have you learned anything more about the pace of funding from the state and the feds? Are we getting paid on a timely basis as you expected?
Yes. As far as the federal aviation money, Art, yeah, it's coming in within less than a week from when we submit reimbursement requests. So
Fantastic. That's great. What about the state?
the state, as there's no state funding with these aviation grants this year, I can't comment on that because we haven't submitted anything. On the highway and bridge end of it, it's probably a little bit slower than normal. That's what I understand, but we are getting it.
Thank you.
It's just slower than normal. So,
Yep. Thanks very much.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dean. Yeah,
Mhm.
last last meeting 2 months ago that Malin had said the year started out really slow, and then
Yeah.
it got where it was the busiest he's seen since he's been there, which got my attention.
I'll bet it did. Yeah, the days I've been up to the airport on a nice day, yeah, there's been several business jets, sometimes on the tarmac, 2 or 3 at one time. I hear a lot from Rich Gold, who is one of his managers up there, and he's been very busy because he manages a lot of that traffic that comes in and out of there, rental cars and things like that. So yeah, it's good to hear him say that. Not that we don't want to see commercial aviation have its troubles, but still in all, it's been very good for FBOs around the country, airports like ours too. So very pleased so far this year as far as that goes. So, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Brian, anything going on with the facilities at the airport?
Just routine maintenance. We had some issues with plumbing out there. Couple sewage backups. Never really entered the building, but they're all set. Next year, we're just planning on getting a company to come down and with a jet snake and go through there to clean everything. The main thing, like we've been working with Pass Row and some of the, with the gate install for the new gate, and we're coming up with a plan with 911 about entry for when they have med flights. So once everything's all set, then we'll have a plan with 911 for entry for that. But basically just routine maintenance.
Okay, so like the state police or the police or whatever would have a way to just click through the gate, or it's being set up that way?
Well, currently right now, we actually met with the gate installer, and they've installed it's called a Siren. It's like it catches the pitch of a siren, so all emergency vehicles have a specific pitch, and they will be able to open the gate without having to provide them with a fob for the access
or PIN number or something like that. They'll just be able to sound their siren, right, Brian?
Yep,
and
it's supposed to. The gate will open. So, we're making it so it will be user friendly. For the emergency response. And plus for highway. So, that's a good thing that gate. It's upgrading it, so now it'll be usable for every. It'll actually be functional properly the way it should be. So, but yeah, all emergency vehicles will be able to get in with just turning their siren on, so we don't have to hand out a bunch of fobs for all the agencies. So we're just working on with 911 to develop a plan for it. That's also everyone knows.
Right. Okay, interesting. Okay, anybody have any questions or anything?
just wondering, Brian, if somebody's going by on the road there with a siren going, is that going to open the gate or is that far enough away?
I think we're far enough away. What do you think, Dean? That's at least 500 feet, right?
Yeah. I think you can fine tune the
This is the
volume.
sensitivity.
Yeah, the sensitivity to it, right? That you wouldn't be able to set it off from just heading up 9H. No, I see what you're saying, Sarah, but I think you have to be pretty close to it to trigger the gate mechanism. But we could check on that too, though. So good. That's a good point.
Is there a camera there at the gate or a plan for a camera at the gate potentially, or?
Dean, correct me if I'm wrong. It was we will have the camera just for the gate access right now. But I think, Dean, that was for future possibly with cameras, correct?
Right. Yeah, I had security cameras in the last couple of years worth of capital budgets. We didn't get to it the year before, and then COVID kind of messed up the budget for this year as far as those things, which are not federally funded. So we decided to take that out of just to save the county some money this year. But security cameras, which correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, have come down quite a bit in price, and are much better cameras than they ever used to be. Need to be installed up there at the airport at certain places in the future. So, yeah, it's certainly something that we need to address because most of our county facilities do have the cameras now. They seem to be working out pretty well for everybody. So this is just one more facility that we own that we need to keep an eye on. So
Yeah. Our own S might be able to.
Yes.
Situation.
Right. Yeah, I think you work on cameras with MIS a lot, right, Brian? At the building.
Yeah. MIS they do all the ordering. We the wires installing the cameras and they hook them up. So yes, it would be an in-house job.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right. Anything else?
Hey, Mike, this is Ron. Might be interesting. I don't think that you or Dean know the numbers off the top of your head, but maybe we ask Ron Caponera to compile the fuel sale numbers for January just to see, as you said, we started out slow and then it picked up, but it'd be interesting to know where we were year to date by the end of the year here. So maybe we task him with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea. Yep.
So you requested that of him, Ron?
No, you requested him with that, but
okay.
Thanks for that for the January meeting or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, that would be good.
All right. Does the great hunter have any questions, or he's?
Nope. I'm just listening and getting caught up. That's all.
All right.
Yeah, I do have one question, Mike. Quick question. On the airport itself, the owner north of the runway, we know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Do we have to go? He's actually got in touch with me about talking to the county about our right-of-way and lease. Do we have to go through the lawyers for them to do that, or can we do like a one-on-one and get the process going again?
I would definitely run that past Rob Fitzsimmons.
Okay.
Because, as you know, just this year we were in court, so
Right.
And that kind of got put off for a while. So they didn't come to a full agreement. So we're a little bit in limbo there. But I would definitely just run it past Rob and get his opinion first.
Okay. I'll do that, and then I'll get back with you if I find out anything. You know.
All right.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
You can be lead negotiator. Yep.
I'll try. Do the best I can, Dean.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Sterling second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.